Morning, Brisbane Council Budget Committee. My name is Jamie Falsh and today Heinz and I will be sharing with you plans for Edwards Park, a medium to large 19.56 hectares park that is based in a suburban area in Piccadilly Place, Carindale, Queensland. Brisbane Carindale is a very well-designed, prosperous suburb. If we want Carindale to stay this way, we must focus our attention on upgrading public infrastructure, for example parks and shopping centres. Edwards Park is well known for its quiet, calming bush trails which are located around and alongside Bulimba Creek. Detailed location description. Edwards Park is a suitable place for a park as it is located right next to many suburban homes. It is in close proximity to City Point Christian College, a larger school with over 1,700 students, which means there are many children that can access this park for both educational and recreational purposes with an easy 1 kilometre walk. Edwards Park is located near Scrub Road, a main arterial road, which connects to many key areas in the local area. There are 4 main walking paths that give direct access to the natural reserve. Edwards Park is a 5-minute drive and a 30-minute walk from Metropole Shopping Centre. There is no direct access to Edwards Park via car, however. There are different paths that give access. This means not only is Edwards Park accessible by walking through pathways and bushwalks, it is also accessible through road. These are well maintained and wheelchair and pram friendly. Edwards Park is a rather open clearing of land. It's surrounded by a walking path that can be accessed from different streets. The open field and noises of the bush are very comforting and make the park feel very safe. Edwards Park is a great place to exercise due to there being a large circular pathway and multiple outdoor gyms in the area. Not only is Edwards Park surrounded by bushland, it is extremely open, which opens a plethora of opportunities for upgrade. There are 3 main playground areas: gym, swing and jungle gym. There are also playgrounds for children to play while adults are walking or working out on the gym equipment. One thing Edwards Park lacks is large trees, so there is not enough shade around the area selected for improvement. There are only a few trees here and there, but there is not enough for the area to thrive. The area we are addressing needs renovation due to the bumpy pathways and the outdated playgrounds that don't cater for small children or children with a disability, with not enough shade. There is also limited access to water and no ablution facilities. The pathway is approximately 500 metres in circumference and provides a good distance for running. Bulimba Creek meanders from the east, along the southern border to the west of the park. This park has great potential but lacks key facilities such as toilets, shade and seating areas. Edwards Park has the space for new infrastructure. This presentation will aim to motivate the decision to improve the development of Edwards Park. I will be discussing the pros and cons of upgrading Edwards Park. By the end of this presentation, my aim is to express ways Carindale can be changed to set us apart from all the other suburbs. This survey was taken at 2 different times, one time at 3 to 4 p.m. on the 18th of March 2019 and the other on the 19th of March 2019, 11:20 a.m. We found that most people used the walkways to access the area. All people were involved in some sort of activity, showing this park is a good recreational place, using the swings, sitting in the shade, using the bubbler, walking on the path, playing on the grass and using the gym equipment. There wasn't one more dominant activity. At 11:20 a.m. more people are sitting in the shade and talking or in the playground or on the swing. The heat due to the time of day limited the available activities for the park goers due to the lack of shade. 7 single use versus 3 people in group indicates that there is a limited sociability during this time. At 3 p.m. on the 18/3 more people were running or exercising using the equipment. This suggests heat is an important limiting factor to use. Each day there are a few people, too, that like to socialize on the playground equipment and in the shade. 1. This shows that sociability is available in this area, but is limited. At Edwards Park it shows that there is a higher amount of females, 6, versus 4 males, because most of these females were on the swing in a group. It suggests that they were the children. This suggests that there is an attraction of families to this area because of the surrounding suburbs. This shows that improving these facilities will increase the use of the park by families. This information was gathered by observing the actions of the park goers and asking them questions. Prior to the upgrades, the usability of the park was good, with a rating of 5 to 7 across all 4 key qualities. Accessibility was rated 5 as the paths were bumpy and there was limited access to equipment in the park itself for prams and wheelchairs. The entry to the path has a very steep slope and this makes it dangerous for people in wheelchairs. Both fitness and play equipment were not able to be used by disabled people. The facilities were usable, clean, and allowed for socializing, so a score of 6 was given for this. There were not sufficient areas for people to sit, especially under shade, which is why 6 was given for sociability and comfort. The park, in general, was well grassed with paths. The seating, taps, water, and play equipment were usable, but old and looked dated. The paint was peeling off the play equipment, but the gym equipment was new, but limited. The pathway around the park was good for runners to use and was cleared of vegetation, so the rating of 7 was given for both comfort and image and uses and activities. In conclusion, Edwards Park was a usable space for recreation prior to the upgrades, but was not being used to its potential, and this will change once the upgrades have been implemented. Edwards Park is in desperate for an upgrade. The key qualities barely reach a 70% rating. The sociability of Edwards Park must be improved. The lack of seat and shade doesn't give a good first impression. A pre-upgrade rating reached 6 from a total of 6 people. A request for a wider variety of equipment was mentioned a few times. After the upgrade, those people then rated the park's sociability an 8/10. 4 people were asked to rate Edwards Park with and without a sports field in the middle of the park. The rating varied from the 4 people. The most average score was an 8. The problem of having a sports field would be the increase in maintenance. Most of the ratings that were given were positive, however. The ratings for the comfort and image weren't very good. People argued about how there is no lighting in the park during dark hours. A very common issue was the wear and tear of the equipment. Most of the equipment in the park is very rusty and could be a potential risk of health danger. Edwards Park does meet the requirement for access and inclusion for disabled people. There are no signs or structures that could aid people with vision impairment and handicapped people. By law, a public place must be suitable for everyone. It is not fair to build a park that cannot be used by everyone, including people with disabilities. Edwards Park is a well-placed park in the leafy suburb of Carindale, which is home to many people, so it has the potential to be used by many more people than pre the upgrades. There is ample parking, but most people access the park by walking from their homes. The park has access via roads and pathways, which increases accessibility. However, this is suited to mobile people and does not effectively cater for the disabled or parents pushing prams. The park has a limited variety of gym and play equipment, but the play equipment is old and limited in both accessibility and functionality. The gym equipment is new, but is limited and not accessible to disabled people. The paint is peeling off the play equipment and there are only 2 swings. These can't be used by very young children as they don't have a safety harness. There are no facilities for disabled people. A bean is provided, but by the end of the weekend it is full to overflowing, which does not create a positive image for the park. There is a bubbler, but it shoots water into the user's face as it is damaged. Water can be provided for dogs as there is a water bowl facility attached to the bubbler at the bottom.
I don't know.
The play area is shaded, but this space is limited in size and does not cater for large numbers of people. The seating is under a shade sail, but the seating is old and uncomfortable. Lighting is present, but is not sufficient to make the park usable at night. The park does not cater for older children, other than the swings, and use is limited to a large, flat open grassed area which is mowed and can be used for games like touch footy. A lack of toilets means that time spent at the park is very limited and could prevent people from coming all together, unless they live very close to the park. Edwards Park is a place where people can come to hang out and socialize. The atmosphere is extremely welcoming, which plays an important role in the popularity and use of the natural reserve. The smell of the bush and Balimba Creek adds to the safe, welcoming and quiet atmosphere. The open field and playground equipment encourage children to get active with friends. The public amenities such as seating and bubblers allow people to enjoy themselves at the park for longer. The park is very tidy and is kept very clean, however the playground equipment is not up to standards. Problems such as rust and natural wear and tear has caused the playground to be unappealing to the public. This wonderful park allows people of all ages to entertain themselves for hours. Many events such as picnics, dates, birthdays and event conferences can be held at Edwards Park. Edwards Parks have many different parts that can be used for things like seating, water, gym, basketball, cricket, climbing and swinging. However, the lack of amenities such as shade and toilets decrease the chances of people staying there for longer. Edwards Park is very well looked after, and it kept very tidy. This gives a good first impression. The park is very open, so if something were to happen, the chances of someone being able to help is very high. The lack of shade and seating doesn't come by unnoticed. There are a total of 4 seating areas in the park. There is almost no shade over the 2 main attractions, which poses a threat to the health of the public due to the sun. Despite these major problems, the impression people get by walking through the park is extremely positive. Edwards Park is not very accessible. It only has 3 direct paths that connect the park and the rest of Carindale. The pathway around the park is not very efficient. The path is only 1 metre wide, which means people of bikes must stop to let others pass. Edwards Park was not very well thought out. The park has no amenities that aid people with disabilities. This park does not allow people with disabilities to entertain themselves. The amenities in Edwards Park do not meet the access and inclusion requirements of the Brisbane City Council. The sidewalks must be more than 1.2 metres wide to allow people with wheelchairs to safely traverse the park. Circular seating will be used. This is more expensive than conventional linear seating. However, it seats more people, allows people to interact easily, and has a smaller footprint. This increases the number of users, and that will increase sociability by having more people talking to each other. The bright colours will create a better aesthetic look, which will also increase the number of people to the space. Increased shade through the use of sails and native trees will allow people to be safe from the sun, cooler, and therefore they will use the park for more hours during the day as well as stay for longer. This increases the time they can be in contact with other people, so it improves sociability. Native plants and trees also improve sociability as they provide habitat for native animals which people can see. A spray park will increase sociability as more people will use the space in hotter times, as it will cool them down. A variety of spray features will allow for a variety of age groups to use it. As it is flat and easily accessible from the pathway, it increases sociability for immobile people as well. The water can be accessed from the groundwater via a pump and filtered, and a solar array can provide the energy needed to pump the water through the sprays. The initial outlay will be costly, but using recycled water and solar energy will offset this in the long term. The area will be bright and create a friendly and exciting environment. Glow domes shine at night and create a space that can be used for sociability in the evening. This maximizes the time that the park can be used, so more people coming to the park means more interaction and more sociability. Increasing the number of people who are active will have a positive impact on the health of the population in the long run and will save money in the health budget. The North Playground in Edwards Park was the area we proposed to be upgraded. We asked a few people what they would like to see upgrade in this area. The most common request was to implement better playground equipment. These photos show a rough idea of what the upgrade should be adding and focusing on. The area we studied is in need of an upgrade that focuses on upgrading the uses and activities. The North Park currently has 2 parts, a playground that consists of a slide and a swing and an undercover bench. The playground is placed under a large healthy paper bark tree that provides shade over the swing. The playground is very small and isn't very visually appealing. Our upgraded photo of the park is one of the many possible upgrades that can be very beneficial to Edwards Park. The upgraded photo adds 2 slides that connect on 2 different levels. It also consists of an improved playground that has multiple levels but is enclosed, so is safe to be used by children from the age of 4+ with parent consent and supervision. The upgraded photo also adds additional shade that can reduce the risk of sun-related injuries. The shade is also very convenient because it allows the public to stay at the park for longer amounts of time. A dog park and ablution block will also increase the use of the park, as well as a barbecue area and multi-height bubbler. Increased lighting, powered by solar arrays, will be placed along all walkways, seating and barbecue areas, as well as near all equipment. The lighting will be soft to create a safe environment with a peaceful feeling. The use of solar arrays will keep the cost down in the long term and be energy efficient. The use of disability equipment will improve the image of the park as it will be more inclusive. The provision of more rubbish bins will improve the overall appearance of the park and improve the comfort and the image. The recycling of the water and waste material and the use of solar energy will improve the image of the park as an efficient green space. The play equipment will be varied in access and age appropriateness. It will be brightly colored and made from material that doesn't retain heat, plastic. This increases usefulness and the overall appearance of the park as a friendly, safe and inviting place for all ages, making the park more inclusive. The use of recycled plastic to make the equipment will add to the green nature of the park as well as preventing the color from peeling off like the current paint is. It will last longer, be used more frequently and by more people. The increased number of people accessing the park will increase the image of the park as the park will be a more comfortable and stimulating place to be. Adding an ablution block will help to increase the comfort as people can go to the toilet when they need to and not have to go home to use it. Edwards Park is a very nice park to visit, however it does not meet the requirements for disabled or elderly people. Edwards Park does not have safety railings near the benches provided. This means that people that have trouble walking or getting up do not have the required infrastructure to help them complete these actions. Edwards Park can easily be upgraded to support more people. There are multiple entrances to the park, bushwalk entrance and 4 entrances that are linked to the streets around the park. All of the entrances are fitted with ramps. This allows people with wheelchairs to access the park with ease. The park does not meet the requirements for access and inclusion. By law, every public place should be accessible by people with disabilities and elderly people. These requirements are as followed: ramp for wheelchairs, rail on the ground and play equipment for blind people, and signs that compensate for people that are deaf, blind or old. Edwards Park has many opportunities to upgrade its accessibility. The current situation is very disappointing. There are not enough seats for old people and there are not enough parking spaces. All round, Edwards Park is a very nice park, however it lacks key features that draw people into the park. Although Edwards Park in Carindale is a relatively well-used park, with some key qualities, there are certain aspects of the park that are in dire need of improvement. Prior to the upgrades, the usability of the park was good, with a rating of 5 to 7 across all 4 key qualities, with most people surveyed wanting improved facilities, specifically upgraded paley equipment. The park is not sun-safe and inclusive. It lacks some basic amenities and accessibility. Its use is not being maximized, and this is seen as a wasted opportunity. It is highly recommended that the proposed improvements are considered favourably to ensure a sustainable use of Edwards Park as a sociable hub in Carindale to improve the lifestyle of the residents.